If you're saying that there's something wrong with that guy and is thinking, yes, there is.
Got it. All right. So it.
It wasn't a good plan. You're right.
It was not. Okay, good. All right. I think we're on board.
Bad plan.
Bad plan. Hail, Internet. It's Paul. It's Matt. The Dork Lords. We are here talking about The Boys. Season 2, Episode 7. Butcher, Baker, Candlestick Maker. Obviously, Billy Butcher would be a butcher in that context. Candlestick Maker, probably Lamplighter. The Baker.
With Frenchie, you're saying?
Frenchie. Frenchie has a line about talking about how cooking can be used as a port in the storm. And so there's a cooking reference. Apparently, it's also something in the comics. There's like a section that is called this, so they're taking it from the comics. But who the Baker is, maybe the Baker is another superhero we haven't met yet, who's been in the background the whole time making frescoes.
Yeah, I should check that scene again where everybody's head explodes to see if there's anybody in a chef hat.
Oh, there's like a kiosk in the back that's like, pies! Pies, anyone? Whoop, 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 whoop. Okay, so we begin this episode with a montage of a Stormfront supporter. Got posters, got all like a bobblehead doll, got a Funko Pop, whatever. He got all the Stormfront gear. Becomes convinced that this convenience store clerk is a soup terrorist because this reflection comes across this guy's eyes, and he thinks the clerk's eyes glow. So he's like, So
it was nice to see Charlie Kuntz again, because I had known him from Community where he played Fat Neil.
Right. I'm not as familiar with that, but I was aware that was a thing, and apparently there's a D&D reference to him, so good on that.
Oh, yes, very good episodes. I would highly recommend them.
So we end with a very shocking scene, in a show that prides itself on shocking.
Yes.
They still keep doing it.
Hold my beer is what they constantly say every episode.
There's a congressional hearing about Vought, and it looks like, the boys are finally, their plan to take down Vaught's coming together. No, heads start exploding. Pop, 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 pop. Several key folks' heads explode, including the guy who's like the father figure for Homelander, the scientist that raised Homelander. His head's gone.
Yep, it's gone.
A-Train's replacement, Shockwave, his head's gone.
Yeah.
So some pretty notable folks are gone. And so that's where it ends. They're like, okay, the hearing, I assume, is drawn to a close. I don't think they're like, hey, okay, everybody, to order. I know we've lost a few folks here in the last few seconds, but I think we can just clean up some of the blood and let's just keep moving. No, I think the hearing was finished at that point.
Yes.
So that's the bracket.
It's interesting the people that survived it. I mean, I'm shocked that that politician that she managed to survive.
Right. Newman is her last name.
Newman.
No. Yes. Right. The fact that she survives is either just dumb luck, or is she somehow involved in some weird way? Conspiracy theories could abound in that situation. She looked genuinely terrified, I'll say that.
She did, but maybe it's one of those, we'll take care of that situation, don't you worry about it. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, is this it?
Oh, is that how you did it? Oh, okay. I thought you just have them lie. All right. Similarly, Homelander and Stormfront are in these hearings, and they are not affected. And as you mentioned,
not affected.
I was under the impression that perhaps they were involved just because they were looking around like, oh, this is interesting. But you made up the good point, which is if, let's say, Homelander had been involved in this, like, here's the plan, bring in a soup that can blow up heads, he probably would have taken more joy in the moment. Like, he probably would have been smiling or laughing, and he's not doing any of that. He's kind of seems confused.
Yep.
Basically. So with that in mind, it's not 100%, but it feels like that Stormfront and Homelander were not involved in whatever this plan was as well. So that leaves who is involved in this plan.
Yes.
We saw earlier in the season, it was Raynor. She starts talking something bad about Vought, and her head explodes.
Yep.
Some people I've seen like, oh, maybe it's that Cindy person who was the inmate from last week that can like crush things, but it doesn't seem right. For one thing, she doesn't crush heads. She's not crushing your head. She's just bah, boo, bah, bodies.
Yes.
Also, she does not. I wouldn't think she's pro Vought, right? I mean, like she, for one thing, Stormfront attacks her and then leaves, and then she breaks out and is gone. So for her to be like, oh, thanks, Stormfront, sure, I'll come in and help you out in this hearing. I don't. So I'm gonna say no.
Yeah, no, that would perhaps assume that there was more control over her than we would have expected, since she walked off the premises.
Right after killing several of the guards.
Right.
Doesn't really seem that way. So no, I don't think that's her.
And two, it doesn't seem like she has an understanding of the world around her that much. She understands that she has captors, and the fact that she would when she confronts Mother's Milk, and she's like, "Oh, I'm not friendly like you look like, you're dressed like him." It's like, okay, she doesn't have a very complex understanding of the world around her,
right?
She,
because she wouldn't. I mean, she's trapped in a cell. So,
So
I don't think that's
presumably
her.
with some mental issues. I mean, I'm guessing. I haven't done a full workup, and I'm not a doctor. But.
I trust your medical opinions implicitly.
That's gotten me so far in life.
So if not Cindy, I think there are two possibilities here. Either it's Stan Edgar. Mr. Edgar is, maybe he has that power. Maybe that's what we learned. I've been a head-popping soup the whole time. But if not that, then he's at least ordering it, perhaps, because these are all very pro-Vought killings. The other thought would be that perhaps it is, I'll throw this in there, the collective. We saw again Goran Visnich again talking about, he's talking to A-Train and the Deep, and he's like, hey, I got a meeting with Mr. Edgar, and you guys get ready. You're getting back on the team.
Yeah. He said they have a couple of things to work out, he was saying, and then...
Right. And so one very convenient thing is that Shockwave's head explodes. So the A-Train replacement needs replacing. And so one could think that maybe the collective has this ability to do this, and like, hey, Vought, we'll throw you a favor if you throw us favors. And so that's they're like the hitmen for Vought, perhaps.
Yeah, so maybe you'll start to like them.
Yeah, maybe. They still got to grow on me here. Come on, guys. Let's have a big boardroom meeting about it. Why don't we do that? Let's sit and talk, and not do anything. Okay.
This was a special, boardroom meeting. If you,
That's true. It was a boardroom meeting, and they did not just talk. They just,
People had a lot to say, more like gurgle and pop, but.
Okay, so going back to the opening montage, resulting in this Stormfront supporter
with Neil
shooting a store clerk. What was the end goal for that guy? So, okay, he believes that the clerk is a soup terrorist. Okay.
Right, he does.
So I'm gonna shoot you in the head. Now,
yes,
two possible outcomes. One which we saw. Hey, I shoot you and you're not a soup terrorist and you just die and now I'm a murderer.
Right.
Which obviously in his mind, he didn't appreciate that. He was like, oh God, what have I done, kind of thing. So, So that's obviously not the outcome he wanted. So the other outcome would be, I shoot you in the head and because you're a soup terrorist, you absorb the bullet and then what? Now he'll kill me. And there's no one there in the store, so it's not like I'm publicly doing this and I'm going to out you. It's like, no, I'll shoot you, you'll block it, and then kill me.
So a dumb person did something dumb, and you're saying...
No, I'm not saying it's not believably that it could happen. I'm just saying...
No, yeah. Well, I think yes. If you're saying that there's something wrong with that guy and is thinking, yes, there is.
Got it. All right. So it
wasn't a good plan. You're right.
It was not. Okay, good. All right. I think we're on board. Bad plan. There's a political angle to this. This episode is making a statement
Yes.
I would say generally about Trump supporters. I mean, there's a lot of, they use a lot of the chants. We hear like, send her back, that kind of thing. Yep. So it's making commentary. It's social commentary, political commentary.
Mentioned several times in this thing there.
Yes. One of the main themes, however, in the show, in this episode, is, I would say, dysfunctional families, dysfunctional parent-kid relationships. You've got Butcher and his dad.
Right.
You've got Homelander and his father figure. Yeah. You've got Homelander and his son.
Yeah.
You've got Starlight and her mom. All of these relationships are less than satisfactory, one would say.
Yes. Exactly.
And I'll say this, Paul, I don't know if you noticed this. Did you notice who was playing Butcher's dad?
Yes, I did.
It's John Noble.
Yep, John Noble.
Hence, everything comes back to Lord of the Rings.
Oh,
boom! You had two Lord of the Rings guys.
I'd forgotten that he was in that. I should say, actually, I don't know that I ever knew that he was.
Oh, yeah,
I've
Carl
seen Lord
Urban.
of the Rings, but I'm used to him from Fringe.
Nope.
Elementary.
Lord of the Rings. Denethor, baby. Denethor, and nothing else matters. No, actually, I enjoyed his take in Fringe. But, no. So
he had a couple of takes in Fringe.
Well, my point being, too, but, since Carl Urban was also in Lord of the Rings, it is a Lord of the Rings reunion in that moment. Plus, I'll throw this in there. Denethor, Lord of the Rings, he is a terribly abusive dad with two sons, one of whom dies. There. It's the exact same scenario. The Boys is Lord of the Rings. Yeah, take a nap.
Keep talking.
Okay. Anyway. All right, so I'm done. I'm done. I'm just saying. Butcher's dad giving off severe Denethor vibes.
A real good nap.
That's what I'm going with. Okay.
That's what I saw.
Anyway, I was glad to see it. I'll say that. I was like, oh, this is great. Okay, cool. He's going to leap off of a building on fire. That's what's going to happen. That's how Denethor dies. Okay, anyway, there is a parallel that they're drawing between Butcher and his dad and Homelander and his dysfunctional dad, or his father figure. I forgot the guy's name, the scientist. Anyway, the scientist talks about how, when he was a kid, he was really nice and he was well-adjusted. And then I thought, can't really have that if he's going to be a hero. So we deliberately steered him away from being a nice, well-adjusted kid. And it's the same thing with Butcher's dad. He's like, hey, you know what? Lenny couldn't hack it. He was too nice.
Yes.
See, you owe your success to my abuse, basically, is kind of what he's suggesting. Yeah. And so I think there's a similar thing there.
They've really done a lot to establish a connection with Butcher's brother and Huey. And this one, they emphasize yet again. It seems like they're really bringing in those themes. And initially I was saying that he'd be not too long for this world, that he's going to be matted. But I wonder if he's going to get an infusion of V or something.
Wait, who are we talking? The dad?
Huey.
Oh, Huey. No, yeah, Huey's staying around. Huey.
I know.
Huey's gonna.
I'm saying.
Okay, you think maybe he gets it through having V or something?
Maybe. I mean, they're making a big point out of the type of person that he is, and and where he stands in terms of the group,
True, although maybe he's the exception. Maybe what they're trying to say is, hey, everyone has this conventional wisdom, which is like, you got to be hard-edged and tough and break all the rules in order to do the right thing. And it's like, actually, that's not the case. You can be an honorable person.
But can you?
Still, but I don't, one would like to think.
Yeah, but I mean, in terms of the story.
Denethor's son Faramir, he believed so. And
God, help me. Oh, jeez. Are there any mental health people watching who can determine if someone is going too deep into obsession?
Okay. Yep. No.
Maybe you can get a paper out of it. One thing that about Homelander's son.
Okay, Ryan.
If you wanted to have someone who isn't a superhero become a superhero, one thing you might want to do is kill his mother, Martha.
That's very true. No, I was thinking like Becca. As soon as Stormfront was like, "I want like a kid," and then I'm like, "Oh, Becca's days are really numbered." I mean, I'm not saying she's matted because we do see in the trailer she shows up. She runs away. Basically, she runs to Butcher. It's like they've taken Ryan. So the fact that
but that could be early in the program, and then somehow. Stormfront finds a way to kill her, or they find a way to kill her and implicate the boys.
Right. Not just that. I thought you were about to not do a plural, just say the boy. But I thought Ryan might kill her at the end of that episode when he was mad at her, the little kid. He's like, I hate you.
But
she's trying to like hold him back, and I mean, we know he can do the laser eyes, and he's really strong and all that stuff.
Right. So it wouldn't be intentional. You're suggesting, but
no. He wouldn't be like but like just like
he's
little
had
kid
a long
rage.
time to be angry and not have powers. So I don't know. It feels like it'd be a little weird to have him.
I mean, I was remembering a couple episodes
use his
ago
powers and kill his mother. I feel like. I guess I like my theory better, where it's like then he can discover being betrayed by Stormfront and Homelander.
I agree that your theory is more likely than mine. I was just saying what I actually was feeling in this episode. In that moment when he was yelling at her.
Yeah, well,
I was like,
the thing that occurred to me, though, is, boy, this kid, I thought he was raised better than that. It's like, oh, you lied to me. I want to leave now.
It took one flyover. All right.
Yep.
I hate you and everything you stand for.
Yep.
I'm going with Dad and his girlfriend.
He was a lot more skeptical of Homelander the previous episode or whatever, and now like,
Yeah, I know. The change was quick. Now he's a kid, so maybe that's the explanation.
Well, he's a kid. The explanation is they don't want to spend too much writerly thoughts on him. He's a plot device.
Homelander takes off with Ryan, who has now been turned against his mom.
And they were like coming on strong too. It's like, wow. I mean, certainly, she's going to run to the boys because they've taken him away. But and then what? Then what happens to her?
Right. So you think there's a chance that she could die this season?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think there is.
All right. I think there's a chance. I'm not going to mat her, although my matting skills came to fruition. Lamplighter.
Oh, yes.
Gone.
Yes.
Gone. We hardly knew ye.
Right. Well, yeah, and I guess they really wanted to appreciate the actor in the showrunner saying, like, oh, I feel a little regret for killing him. He was so good. And he certainly was doing a lot more in that part than maybe you might have, They wanted it to come down to the fact that, he's willing to watch porn and then kill himself. But
well, not just porn. He's watching.
Yes, you're right.
The seven-based parody porn.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
We're talking about dysfunctional families. He's a dysfunctional person there.
Yes.
But so he shows up. He pretends that he's going to be helping Huey go rescue Starlight. But his intention is to just go in to the 7 offices and kill himself.
Yeah.
And so he gets there, and then he's really distraught that his statue's been changed out. That Starlight is taking his spot. He's like, "What? Now I can't. Oh, I was going to do it in front of my statue." Yeah. But he immolates himself. It's another one of those. We talked last week, I think, about the Sage Grove inmate that could throw up acid but wasn't immune to his own acid.
Yes.
Kind of similar to the Lamplighter. It's like, you're not immune to your own fire? Like, okay. Anyway, but so he blew himself up. The scene of Huey cutting off his hand was, it was like gross but funny, but like he's like, he's trying to get the saw through the wrist. And
it was grunny.
Yeah, exactly. In typical boys fashion. Elena, we saw that the breakup with May was coming, and in fact, it does show up in this episode.
Yeah.
She's like, look, I just, can't deal with this. And so there's that video is still in play, however. I think it's going to, the video of Homelander and Maeve allowing this plane full of people to die.
Yeah.
That's somewhere that's going to come into play next episode.
It could.
I don't know.
It could.
I don't know what effect it'll have, but it's there, and so Maeve is going to use it in some way. She being Maeve does rescue Starlight.
Yes.
And by
yes.
Extension Huey, I suppose.
And they really showed the actor is most likely not the clone of
right of Homelander. Is certainly not actually. So we knew that the actor playing Black Noir was black. But when we do see the mask partially pulled up, we see that actor. Yeah. So we're like, okay, it's not It's not a Homelander clone. Yeah. So we'll talk about that in a second. Which I liked the Almond Joy bit. But anyway, what do we think then?
In other words, you're a Mounds guy.
Right. Almond Joy. Here's the thing. I'm not a big coconut fan. If a chocolate bar or a cake or something has the little coconut flakes on it, it's like, great, sawdust.
But a whole wad of it, it's not your, I see.
Yeah, not a big, it's not like the worst thing of all time. But I'm rarely like walking down the aisle.
You and Huey really should go candy shopping together. Boy, your tastes are just, so close.
Are you is this being ironic? Are you an Almond Joy fan? Is that what you're saying?
Really? I prefer the Mounds. Well, see, what I would like is the Mounds, because I don't really care for the almonds especially, in milk chocolate, not dark chocolate.
Wow.
So yeah, so they make me
Paul
like
Bunsen,
have to fight.
I don't know you.
Almond Joy.
Who are you?
Mounds?
Who hurt you, Paul Bunsen? She would like Mounds. And all right. Yeah, very rarely. Maybe once in the last decade have I walked through a store, seen the panoply of possible candy bar selections, and gone, you know what? Almond Joy. Nope. Very, very rarely does that happen. Theory crafting time. We are fairly convinced Black Noir is not the Homelander clone like he is in the comic.
Sure.
So is it just that who cares, and there's not a reveal about that? Does his identity matter in the show?
That's a good
question. If it does matter, then who is he?
They spent a lot of time with him just sort of sitting off to the side, and I wonder what would happen to the character if they, change that to any extent.
Right. I mean, maybe they just keep him as the guy with the mask, and they don't have a reveal. I would say if there's a reveal, the most narratively interesting reveal would be that he is Mother's Milk's dad. Like, the guy who was fighting Vought. And he died, but maybe he didn't die, and they brought him in, and now it's actually Mother's Milk has to, it's kind of like the Luke, I'm your father moment.
That'd be strange then, since he was he almost killed Butcher in front of his son.
Yep. I mean, I'm just saying it's weird. It would be odd, but it's possible, I suppose.
I guess.
Anyway, maybe it makes the world a little too small. You don't have to do that. You can just make him be a super-powered guy.
I think you're right.
You don't care who he is. Okay. But yes, so he has a nut allergy, and so his kryptonite is Almond Joys, which is awesome. Maeve knows this about him. Pulls up the mask, shoves an Almond Joy in his mouth, kicks away like the EpiPen or whatever, and that's how you incapacitate Black Noir, which is great. I thought that was really, really funny. She's
on the edge.
Got a weakness. Yeah. So now Maeve.
She lost, her love and is now living a debauched life. I mean, she probably still wants to take on Homelander, I would guess, but.
Well, now think of this. Black Noir is not dead.
Right.
Like, assuming she doesn't go kill him, he's going to be like, by the way, Maeve, incapacitated me and ran off with Starlight. Okay. She is and Starlight says, "Come with me," and she's like, "No, I'm not going to do it." So if I was going to, I would mat her before I mat Becca, Rich Butcher's wife.
Okay.
Maeve's days could be numbered.
Maybe.
In this situation, she is. She can't hide.
I feel like it's going to happen. Certainly through battle, I guess, since she's planning. She's professed a plan or wanting a plan to destroy Homelander.
You've combined them. You've shipped them.
I've shipped
so
them.
it's like Stormfront and Homelander together make Homefront.
Homefront. Yes.
Stormlander.
Yeah, Stormlander. There you go.
So what do we think about then? The finale's next week or a few days from now.
Right.
What are we seeing in the finale?
It does feel like it's not enough time to really have things happen.
Right, 1 hour. Okay.
Yeah, I feel like if you wanted the biggest bang for the buck, you would expose, Homelander, and also Stormfront. I feel that's what you would do, but in the course of that, maybe killing off.
Maeve.
Ryan's wife. Ryan's mother, I mean.
Becca.
Becca, yeah. Killing Becca off, finally. I mean, something's supposed to happen, right? It's not... I mean, they're doing a lot of things character-wise that make, that are supposed to make you wonder if some people are going to survive. So all the stuff with Frenchie, and all the stuff with Butcher, and all the stuff with... You're kind of thinking maybe Huey as well. So and Kimiko, it's like, what's her way to destroy Stormfront? It's like, and how is Grace? She was there when that was happening. She's has this plot to try to end the. I mean, how is she still alive? And they just blew up the head of the. She's telling people, "Oh, you should get out." Oh, no one's telling that to her.
That's a good point.
She.
Yeah. She's trying to tell Mother's Milk, like, what you ought to do.
Yeah.
Look, I'll get you the tickets. Let's get to your family. Because
I feel like the way
choice.
to tell her story is that she may feel as if she sees her moment to finally do something to get revenge for her children.
Right.
But she's wrong.
Oh.
Right, because she can't win completely.
Well, she obviously Lamplighter is now out of the picture.
Right.
So
Lamplighter and the guy too. I mean, and she helps the politician get away, but
Well, she does also. She gives Frenchie the same task that she had given him for Lamplighter, right?
Yes.
It's like, go follow the senator and don't screw up this time, which I think to me meant it was like she had gotten past some part of that. Like she was forgiving Frenchie enough to say, "I'm giving."
But she still has lost her children. That's her whole thing is getting revenge. So
right, so she's at the end of this arc where now she can die.
Yes.
I'm past it, so kill me.
I've accomplished everything in this story that that I can.
Right. No, I agree. I think that's a good take. That I could see her going out, whatever, to save the boys or something like that. I think that the main thrust of this is going to be taking out Stormfront. And I think they're going to be successful. I think Stormfront will die by the end of next episode.
Okay.
Just a thought. And I think perhaps, as you alluded to, perhaps Kimiko does the death blow. But I can't imagine her, as you say, taking her on one-on-one. Yeah. But she's got enough physical fighting abilities that if Stormfront was incapacitated in some way, Kimiko could put a whooping on her.
Yeah, perhaps. Or with some weapon that is revealed in the final episode that would have the power to kill her.
Gotcha. So there's that. Becca comes to Butcher. There's something there. You're right. Whether it's Becca dying, or maybe this video gets used and somehow it's effective, and Homelander becomes this persona non grata. He's no longer allowed in polite society anymore, somehow, or something. And
maybe Stormfront kills Becca, and Ryan sees and kills Stormfront.
Ooh, that's a good take. I could see something like that happening. So Ryan embraces his powers.
Yes,
and that would probably be the way he would do it, in some way, to protect his mom or avenge his mom. Because we saw him kind of do that before, where he got angry at Homelander.
Okay. So then he'd have all this guilt because he turned on his mother, and Homelander would have to try to make a connection to his son, even though he was a part of why he got turned away from his mother.
There's that scene from one of the first trailers for this season, and it's Homelander. It looks like he's got mud or blood all over his face.
Okay.
And he's descending. It looks like he's flying, but he's floating down to Earth.
Okay.
And he's looking down at the camera, and he's got this very concerned look on his face, hey. I can imagine maybe that's hey, son, I just came from killing folks. I don't know what that's all about, but we haven't seen that scene yet, and so I'm wondering how that plays
I wonder if
into...
it's Stormfront's dead.
Yeah, right.
The only woman who would ever love me in the twisted way in which I need to be loved.
Yeah, we see they have their political rally together.
Yes.
They're a good team.
That's right.
A good evil team.
That's right.
Doing evil together.
Yeah.
Anyway, looking forward to it. I honestly, as we just mentioned, there's a lot of ways they can go with this finale, and as I say, they always find a way to shock us, like they did at the end of this episode. Yes. Bring on the shocks, I suppose. Any final thoughts, good sir?
No.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. We'll be back talking about the finale of The Boys and Lovecraft Country. So thanks, Paul, as always.
You're welcome, Matt. Bye.
Bye, everybody.